How's it going, Indy Handshake fans? I am Jesus Cruz. Welcome to Indy Handshake, and today my guest is my brother, Darnell, aka Apollo Kahn. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Glad you called me brother. You like one of the people in the business that I really truly like as a person, and we always been good. Had a respect for each other, and you one of the good people in the business that I met is
Thank you, brother. Likewise.
he too many.
Likewise. I appreciate that, man. And you know what? It's Apollo going to make you look bad. It's Apollo. Now you're looking real mad. I still know all the lyrics to your music.
Hey, it's so funny how many people still know that song. I saw Scorpio. I saw Scorpio Sky in Las Vegas down here on the Strip or no Fremont Street, and I was like, "Oh, what's up, Scorpio?" He was like, "Hey, it's Apollo." It's Apollo. I was like, "Oh, he's remember that shit." And I actually lost that CD in actual LA doing the show. I didn't get it back from the promoter, but
man.
People remember that song. Scorpio Sky was like, "It's Apollo."
It was catchy. Like I interviewed Chupi. I had Chupi on here too, and when we talked about a match you had with him at Lucha Libre show in San Jose, he did the same thing. It's Apollo. He just started doing it, man. It was a great song. It sucks that you don't have it anymore. I think I have it somewhere. I have to look for it.
My cousin actually wrote it for me and made it.
Yeah,
he will actually make another copy. But he never did for me, so.
Okay. Well, it was a classic for sure. But anyways, Apollo Kahn and I met in 2000 while I was doing video for All Pro Wrestling, and you were in the boot camp. So it was you and like Sarah Del Rey guys. Who else was in your class? I think like Bobby Quantz, right, was in your class.
Seth was in there, but Seth came like one class after me, which is I know Simon Gotch. He came one class after me. There's a couple people in that class.
Mario Jet Taylor was in your class.
Jet Taylor.
Yeah.
Delete kind of AKA Greg Khali, but he was kind of skipped to semi-pro because he's like, he a big guy. Fuck it, let's make him actual semi-pro because he got the look. All you gotta do is learn a couple of slams and moves and he good. But he also in that same group also.
Yeah. Well, let's go back and let's talk about first of all what got you interested in pro wrestling and how did you find the APW boot camp?
Okay, my path to the my path to the APW boot camp is very interesting. So when I was young, I didn't really watch wrestling, but I saw Rocky 3. And when Hulk Hogan came out to fight Clubber Lang, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? So my brother was like, that's Hulk Hogan. I was like, who the hell is Hulk Hogan? So they used to always come to the Cala Palace in San Francisco. I'm from Frisco. I lived in San Francisco on this point. And my mom took us there one day. And I was like, oh shit, that's him. But then my brother and them got to go down to the front row because we was up like close to the bleachers, nosebleed seats. And they got to go down to the front row and actually touch Hulk Hogan. I was hella fucking jealous. But anyway, yeah. So ever since that time, I was into wrestling. And that was kind of my getaway because in all reality, outside my home, it wasn't the best. So wrestling was like one of those things that I could look at and kind of, it was different from the world I lived at. Even though it had bad guys and, villains in wrestling, it was kind of, that fantasy world. So ever since then, I was into wrestling. Now going into the future, how I got there, like I said, I used to, be one of those guys that used to be out on the street, you did my thing and stuff like that. So I actually had a friend that he knew I was into wrestling. So he actually saw APW in the newspaper. It was like, hey, it's a wrestling school looking for wrestlers. I think you should do it. Because everybody always said that to me. Like, you got to build to do some kind of athletic stuff. Even in high school, I went to James Logan. And I was into football, but I didn't really try to play it. But even the varsity coach was like, who is this guy? Because I was always stocky. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So everybody always see me doing some kind of sport. So anyway, he was like, you should do it. Not just, you into it and stuff like that. You know a lot about wrestling.
Was this in 1999? Was it 99?
I want to say.
Because you were already there for a while when I came in to work with APW.
Yeah, it was either 1999 or 98. 98
Okay.
or 99. And so we went down there, and a person was training a class. I seen people in the rain. I can't remember, verbatim. It's kind of cloudy. But the person that tried to, sell me signing up, because my boy is like, he is a wrestler. I'm not here to wrestle. He is, was Donovan Morgan. And this was Donovan Morgan. Like he was way more chubbier, had a bigger mullet, and he had like one of those Kango hats but turned back. He had the MC Hammer pants. So
I wonder if he's in one of these posters like that. Yeah.
so anyways, moving forward again. That was, I think it was like a year or two ago, a year and a half or a year or two that happened. So anyway, I got into trouble. Like I said, I was a kid that got into trouble. I used to run the streets, and I ended up going to jail. So, but unlike kind of people I was around, the street life was really my main goal. It was more of like, I did it to make money. Like I said, I sold stuff to make money. You know what I'm saying? I used to, hustle, on the block. And when I went to jail, I was like, I'm done. And actually, the situation that happened, I was actually supposed to be done selling, but the person I sold to was undercover. So it was like, what was my luck? I was trying to be done, and that happened. Anyway, so when I got out, it was like faith a little bit, how I actually found myself back to APW. I got out, tried to stay on straight and narrow, was not trying to kick on the block no more or whatever. So I ended up getting a job close by APW. And it was like I was making like $7 an hour. It was a nothing. But I was like, man, I need a job because I can't go back to grinding and hustling. And I was actually staying in a hotel because I made my mom, she lost her place because of me. You know what I'm saying? Because when they came after me, they broke her door down. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I turned myself in. I was like, what the fuck I'm running for? So anyway, so when I got out of jail, I already had nowhere to stay. So anyway, I took what I could as a job, and making $7 an hour. And I was working that area. I was like, damn, I know that school's around here somewhere. Because I wanted to do something to keep myself occupied, not to involve myself back on the streets. And I knew I love wrestling. And my intent was not to be actual wrestler, but just I was curious about the business behind the curtain. Like everybody's curious about how magic tricks are done. You'll see, like how they do it. You know what I'm saying? That was more it was more curiosity than trying to be an actual wrestler.
Like
So
your goal was not to be a pro wrestler.
yeah, it was something just to do to keep me not doing something, going back to something negative, but at the same time my curiosity. And so anyway, I know I still can afford if I want to do it. So luckily, the same guy that got me to go down to try out to look at the dojo, a friend of his I saw when I was going to lunch at this other job. Jack in the Box was like, where Jack in the Box was at. Everybody's going to Jack in the Box. That same Jack in the Box that's on Beyond the Man.
It's on Clawwitter and Winton.
Yeah. So I saw this guy here. I was like, "Oh, what's up, Matt?" Blah blah blah. He was like, "Oh, what's up? How you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Blah blah blah." I told him my situation. I got out and I'm working a job. He's like, "Oh man, well, I'm working a job. You can make like start at $12 an hour." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, to me, I was like, during that time, I was like, "That's better than making 7." You know what I'm saying? Working a bunch of old women in the warehouse moving printers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he hooked me up. I got the job. It was still in that same area. And I was like, you know what? I can afford to do this. You know what I'm saying? So one night after work, I had no car, walked, tried to find it, couldn't find it. So a week later, 3 times in a row, the third time I found it. I was like, oh, this is it right here. So I went inside, it was nighttime. And I can't remember who I talked to. I don't know if it was Donovan again or whatever. I think it was Donovan. So he talked to him, blah, blah, blah. I said, I want to do this, blah, blah. I'm thinking about it. I end up moving in my sister-in-law house. Sorry, I'm making this real long. I'm gonna try to cut it up. I went to my sister-in-law house, blah, 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 gender for a minute, and I had the brochure that Donovan gave me. Anyway, so this is the first time I learned the phrase work. worker. And this is gonna be a big story about anything I talk about in wrestling, just too much trying to work you. And Dom was the first person that worked me in the business because he called me. He's like, oh man, this is Darnell. I can say my real name, but Darnell such and such. I'm like, yeah. Oh, this is Don from Pro Wrestling Iron. Sorry, All Pro Wrestling. Yeah, man. I'll see what's going on with you. Like we thought you looked good for the business, and you're just selling me. And I'm like, hmm. He sees something in me. Like, seriously, because I went there and he gave me the thing to break down the pay. I was like, huh. But I put it down and I put it in the closet. That was it. But when he called me, he made me feel like, okay, he saw something in me, maybe I can do it. So I was like, you know what, even though it's out of my, my budget, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So, Durbin, you get the privilege of being the first person that totally worked me and made me feel like, okay, I'm part of business. But later on, I learned how the business is. So I went down. So
do you remember when Joe Applebaum told Darnell or Apollo, "You're superstar.
You're a superstar."
You're superstar.
He's like, I think he kind of meant it, but at the same time, like it was trying to pump me up. And that's something else I want to get into when we talk later on is that the problem with the business, a problem with some people, especially I felt in NorCal during that time, it was like they were trying to do too much kayfabe, which I knew they most of the people came from that era. Because like I don't know nothing about indies now, but I kind of heard it kind of changed a little bit, where it's less that type of work other workers mentality and kayfabe, where it's kind of like a little bit more family oriented and like people just being straight instead of like trying to work you. But the politics, I think I was like in the last generation of that wave of politics. You know what I'm saying? Like just straight
for sure.
And like a lot of that played into how things played out with me too, but we get into that later on. But and you know me, I'm a very soft-spoken person that I get to know you well. I'm more of a thinker than a talker. So being in the wrestling business, especially during that time, people like to hear you talk and try to work people. But yeah, I think Joe Applebaum meant well, but at the same time, people did try to work you. But so I went in and then I signed up. But I signed up kind of late, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't make it to that class. But a friend of ours, Mario Mungan, ended up becoming Mario Long, which he found out later is because they was trying to make him like Teddy Long as a referee. He started in this. I think he started class before me, and I just come every day and just work out and thing, but not really train because I couldn't train yet because I was in part of that class. But I already signed up for the next season of class or whatever next whatever quarter. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just work out every day. Just come there, and they saw me there. They know I was interested. And Mario used to take me in the ring on weekends sometimes because he used to live at the dojo. I tried to move that dojo so bad. Because I was living in Oakland with my uncle in Ghost Town. If you know about Ghost Town, it's bad as fuck. It reminded me where I came from, but like kind of probably a little worse. Every night, shoot ups, people shooting up every night. I was like, I'm trying to move in the dojo so I can closer to it, whatever. Anyway.
So sorry to interrupt. The people that don't know, APW used to have like little apartments in their upper section of their warehouse. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I explained that. That's a big part of another part of my story with APW. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they had dorms. We kind of like dorms, and Mario used to stay there. He was from Cleveland, and he moved in, but they didn't have room for me there. So I was just like, fuck, I'd rather move there because I can go to work not too far from here and be there. But I was always around. And on weekends, sometimes he'd come around and Mario used to teach me stuff. They didn't know that. And Mario used to teach me how to do little certain bumps like that. So it kind of helped me out when I started. So yeah, like that was the main start of me beginning in the business. I just, try to stay out of trouble and my curiosity of the business.
And when you started training, was it what you expected? As far as the physicality, I know you guys had the class with Greg Thurston. You guys had a conditioning class. So were you ready physically for training?
No, I wasn't. See, that's another good story. One of the things we did was doing the mile run, and that was even the worst thing. But I used to smoke weed during that time, so we did that mile run that day. I was huffing and puffing and fucking trying to catch my wind and shit. And I knew right then and there that I need to stop smoking. And ever since then, I never smoked. Like I used to smoke weed. I never smoked cigarettes. I ain't fuck with that. But it stopped me from smoking weed. That's how I know how serious I was about it, because I used to be a huge weed smoker, like not even smoking, bags, like smoking out of a sandwich bag, full of weed, So for me to stop that to wrestle, I knew I was serious about it, but I knew it was something positive for me.
And when I met you, you didn't smoke.
Yeah, I stopped.
At the time you'd stopped, yeah.
Yeah, because my cardio. But yeah, the training was tough, but I love that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about me. It's like I get a thrill out of a challenge. I have a challenge. I get a thrill out of, like I said, when I'm going, like I said, that's why in wrestling, not trying to jump ahead, with taking bumps and shit like that. I ain't taking no pain pills, anything like that. Because like to me, I get a adrenaline rush out of pain. So to me, it was just like, but the training was ruthless, and I know why they did it. It was to kind of separate the two reasons why they did it. Separate the weak from the tough. You'll say the deal no more. And because you sign that contract at APW, leave or stay, you owe them money. So it was like it's easier to break them down and have less people to train and still take their money. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you start off that class, it starts off like 50 people, or probably. The next thing you know, it's like when weeks go by, it's like you're down to like 12 people. But people could take it because it was 2 days out of the week. But the training was up and down the stairs, back extensions, hang out of the ring, stand up. Vinny was throwing kicking you in the chest, so you make sure if anybody go down, rest people get pissed at the other person because they go down. Like, and then you got to stay up longer. So, but yeah, like I think it was good because mentally for the business, you got to be prepared for toughness. Because when it comes to mental politics of the business, I think the boot camp was more than just physical. It was for a mental state for the business. Like, don't give up, because you have hills to climb over, especially in the politics.
Who was your trainer at APW? Like, who would you consider was your main trainer?
Okay, Donovan and Vinny. I would say kind of Vinny more, but it was a little bit of both. They kind of mixed it up a little bit. But yeah, we get into it later if we were get on Rick Thompson, because I just felt like, honestly, the training was, like I said, boot camp, break you down, get rid of you, get the money. Training was, teach you the small little textbook they had of moves, and if you grow, you grow. If not, whatever. But yeah, the training wasn't bad, but the experience with Rick Thompson showed me that it was very mediocre compared. But it was Donovan, mostly Vinny, that trained me.
Living in the dorm, you guys were living in these little dorms. What were some of the ribs that you guys would pull on each other as as roommates, as friends? Because that happens. I heard of a couple of things that went on, but I mean, can you name one quick story?
That's the thing about APW that was different iron. It was still politics, but it was actually a family vibe sometime because of the dorms, and I just feel like that didn't transition over to PWI.
Okay.
Dude, the most pranks I saw was pulled on Great Khali, Delete, from from saran wrap above the door of the bathroom downstairs so he can go straight into it, from Tommy Drake putting salt and a lot of salt and pepper, because like they about to leave. He'll be upstairs on that George Foreman grill cooking up a straight Indian meal. You know what I'm saying? Like chicken, everything else. But there's another story to that too. And he loves his meals at nighttime. You see him sauteing his meal, got it all ready. So he went downstairs. He put the meal, his dinner inside the room. Corey went in there, like a Tommy Drake, and put fucking gang of fucking salt on his shit. So when he sit down and ate his meal, dude, Delete, when he get mad, like he's a cool guy, but when he get mad, You motherfucker, dude. I felt so bad because like I know how it is to want a meal, especially that being that fucking big too. Somebody fuck your shit up. From that to them pouring trash can water on, they always get him the most. Put a saran wrap on the toilet when he takes.
Didn't he retaliate against Tommy Drake? Didn't he like throw curry at him or something like that?
Okay. The curry thing was Kelly. What was her work name?
Betty Beefcake.
Betty Beefcake. So when Tommy Drake did the salt thing on his food, that same night he took eggs and just splattered on his fucking TV, splattered on his fucking wall. That's how you got him back for that. Put it all in his fucking bed, I think. So Betty Beefcake. Oh yeah, she the one I think did the trash can thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they put it on his door like this. So when you open the door, the trash can with the water sliding, pour them. I think it was something like that. So it was. I think that same weekend we was doing the show, or weekend after, it don't matter. And we all sitting there chilling, dude. He must have mixed up the best batter of fucking curry, because the shit was so thick. So she was sitting there downstairs, and all of a sudden we sitting there. It was like watching fucking Nickelodeon. A bunch of yellow fucking curry splashed her all in her fucking face, and you see her like this the whole fucking day. She's like fucking Bart Simpson, dude. I swear, she tried to wash that shit off many a time. Betty Beefcake. She deserved every moment of that shit though, because what she did to him. But yeah, like, dude, she walked around the show all day looking like fucking one of the Simpsons. Because like whatever kind of curry that was.
Oh man, it's stained.
Yeah, they did a lot of pranks though. Like that was one good thing. Like,
yeah,
not hazing, but the prank, just comical.
I have one quick Dilip story. Louis Costa and I were filming some vignettes for the APW Tonight show we were producing. We were in the school in the ring, and Dilip was laying down. Like half his body was out in the sun, and half his body was in the gym.
Right.
They have the rolling door. So we were getting too much light, so we needed to close the door. And we're like, well, shit, who's going to go tell him to move, right? So I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll go. So I went over and, Dilip, you move, I close the door, and right. He's just mugging me, right? And I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, that's it. And then he moves, he reluctantly, he's pouting, he moves, he goes upstairs, and I close the door. And then he sits down, and he's just staring at me from up the second floor, and he's got these big walnuts. And he's just looking at me, and he goes, and I'm like, oh shit, dude. I just need to get the shot.
Yeah, I got a good story real quick.
Yeah.
Do you remember Glenn Russell?
Yes. Wasn't he a ref too? Did he ref a little bit?
I don't know. I don't even think he ref, but I know when they did that UPW invasion on APW, they used his Suburban or whatever. Okay. But anyway,
yes, I remember him. Yeah,
he was from Compton.
Yeah,
and like he was a little more edgy than Mario was about certain things.
He had red hair. Didn't he have like dyed red hair?
Yeah, like the curl, like like an S curl, and it was like
yeah.
He was a cool guy. He was like one of my best friends. He's I think he's a doctor now. So if anything people knew about Glenn living in that dorm, his feet smell hella bad. So Dilip did a thing where I never smelled his feet or his shoes, but Dilip actually used to put his shoes outside the dojo, outside the garage, like where you said you was trying to film at, outside there so it could air out. So one day Glenn Russell, he never wore socks. So that's a double whammy. So he took his shoes off one day. And he had it on the upstairs, where the dorm rooms are at. Dude, that whole floor smelled like fucking Frito-Lays. I swear, dude, it was bad. So Dilip was like, "Hey, you shoes outside." You know what I'm saying? But not that fluent. He was
yeah.
And Glenn was like, I said, like he was a small dude, but he was like, "No, fuck you." Dilip was like, "No, shoes outside." He's like, "No, fuck you." My shoes. So obviously you see Dilip, big ass fingers, take one hand, take both his shoes, and he flinging them across the fucking dojo. You see like some little ass Air Maxes fucking flying across the dojo. He's like, it just walked.
Did he have foot powder in his fingers?
No, he should have put a little fucking vape powder in his shoes. But yeah, that was one of the funny moments with Delete.
All right, so after APW, you're doing the boot camp thing, and then during King of the Indies, right after King of Indies 2001 is when half the roster pretty much split. Donovan Morgan, Michael Modest went and started Pro Wrestling Iron, and they brought in Rick Thompson, which was their old instructor, in for training. So you went with Pro Wrestling Iron, but how did that affect the signed paperwork contract that you had with Roland with APW?
Okay. Now, one thing that probably stick out for people in the story about me going over from APW to PWI, it was not a legit transition. And if anything, people say about me, I'm 100, and I'm not a shady person, but me and Mario's in a situation where our situation gave us no choice to move over there. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what happened. The APW dorms got closed down because a fire hazard. Somebody snitched on them and threw them under the bus. And it was me, Delete, Benny Masoro, Mario, and a couple other guys that stayed at the dorm. But we all had to leave. Tommy Drake. Yeah, I ain't gonna say his real name, whatever. And Roland left his condo and let us stay there. And let us stay there. And Delete stayed there. Oh man, it's worse than living Delete out in the dorm, let alone outside the dorm in a small apartment. I still got his heater to this day. Like it's a motherfucking heater that he used to use. The old school heaters. I still got that motherfucker. That motherfucker, I'm telling you, that motherfucker warm up a mansion, dude. Seriously. So what happened was, I don't want to name a promoter name. Mm-hmm. You probably know this promoter. I think he's from SoCal. He's related to somebody in the wrestling business. I'm gonna give initials, so you probably know DA.
I can't think of the top of my head.
So me and Mario was stuck in a in a bad situation, mm-hmm. because at that point, Donovan Modest decided to make a PWI, and I think they try to make a transition. They're trying to make it, like I said, I don't know what happened on their end. I'm telling from my end. The transition happened, trying to do it like from the back door, like slip on out from the back door and kind of leave Roland hanging.
Yeah.
But a student, I'm gonna say Tommy Drake, I don't care. He's not in the business. If you're not in the business anymore, I think you're ass on the bus. You're saying you shouldn't worry about what think about you if you're not in the business no more.
Yeah.
So it was a phone call, and it was some exchange words of the transition, and Roland found out through this phone call. So Roland knew that we was all headed out. We were standing in that fucking his old condo. So Corey was standing there. Oh, sorry, Tommy Drake. And he left. Delete left. I don't know. I think Delete went back to India or whatever like that, because I don't know. He didn't want to get involved. I don't know his side of the story. So only people left there was me and Mario, and Roland refused to pay. He was paying for energy there or something like that, because he wants us somewhere to stay, because we were staying at the dorm. He was helping us out, and we still got paid a little rent, whatever. So energy and shit got cut off. Me and Mario had no energy. I don't think the water didn't even work. So it was me and Mario alone. I don't know where. I think the apartment we went to, that's where Tommy Drake was staying. And anyway, so it was like Donovan gave us an option to stay where Corey was staying, because they moved out this apartment, which I stayed there for years. I stayed at that place for years on Ashland.
Yeah.
And it was either we couldn't stay at the place because the lady that owned the place was she came out to show the place because Roland's planning to sell it. And because what we did. And she was like, dude, the toilet wasn't working, the lights was off. And me and Mario was there what the fuck we do? She's trying to show the place. So she was like, She was like, you know what? I don't need to pay no money. Y'all don't care. Just y'all just got to get out of here. So when we got the offer to go stay somewhere that Tommy Drake was staying and a place to play our head at, we picked that option. So it was like our decision wasn't like, okay, Donovan and them are greater than Roland. It was just that we had no choice. So we just moved with PWI option because we had somewhere to live at. So we was like, hey, fuck it,
Yeah.
And I felt bad because like I still to this day had no problems with Roland. Actually, when I came back to the Bay Area, I talked to Roland face to face, no phone, like that, face to face. And we had a good conversation. And of course, he still wanted his money. He still wanted his money. But Roland was actually a cool guy to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know he's a businessman. Everybody played politics, but I never had an issue with him. He was always a cool dude to me. So what I did to him wasn't personal. It was only personal way for me. I didn't lay my head somewhere. So, and plus Donovan Modest, they needed students. So they was like, we taking you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to continue your pay over there. So that's how that all happened. And we just transitioned over because of that. Everybody else, I think everybody else kind of did it in a shady way. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. So now, you're in Pro Wrestling Iron. They did the whole split with APW. In 2002, I believe, is when the Tetsu Academy opened. Well, first, it was called the M&M Academy. And this was in Hayward at the U.S. Boxing and Karate School, where eventually I ended up doing shows, and Jason Styles was training people there. He actually went there a couple of times. You stopped by. But so how was the training with Rick Thompson, who was the guy that trained the likes of like Mike Modest and them?
Okay. Rick Thompson, I told him this before, but like, you know what I'm saying, he was being very modest as a person, like I gave him his props, but everything I learned at APW, because I said me and Mario did our tryout to be, semi-pro, whatever. Because like in APW they did like, just like a test match. And like they, like you do the moves, it's like
so you had 3 levels, right? You had beginners, semi-pro, pro, correct?
In pro, yeah. In APW, you have the thing where they like you just do the holds, you know what I'm saying? Arm bar, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? So if you pass that, it's like, driving test. You pass it, you check it all the marks, you good. Mm-hmm. But I don't me and Mario, we did it. First thing Don was saying, I mean, I'll be honest, it's true, but like I said, that's just how the business was back then. He was like, this is gonna be interesting for shits and giggles. And they were surprised that me and Mario actually did all the moves right. But I don't think we didn't do the same tests like that at PWI. But anyway, that same book they had, I think they had at PWI, but what Rick Thompson did, it's like a key. He put the key in, he turned it. You know what I'm saying? He opened your brain up to how it all works. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of teaching me an arm bar and just a turn arm bar, he teach you how to do 10 or more things out of that one move. So it opened your mind up of how chain wrestling works. How to, not just sit there and like, okay, I'm doing an arm bar. Okay, I'm doing a wrist lock. It's like you can take that and be innovative with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what he did with us. He like just turned the key and opened it to us. And then his breakdown on how a match goes was just the beginning of me wanting to be a technical wrestler even more. King of Indies, do you have that? Because I want to copy King of Indies. Okay,
the first one or the second one? Well, I mean, yeah. Because when I started, it was in 2000, so I was there for the first King of Indies. This was in Galt, the one with Christopher Daniels won that one, and then I have obviously the 2001.
Yeah, I like both. I'll pay you for it. Okay.
I'll just send you a link.
Okay. Yeah, I like both. What I want to say is, when I was all about which was my downfall a little bit, not downfall, but like my bad judgment on me furthering the business is charisma. Because when I got to wrestle, I got to wrestle for the charisma. You know what I'm saying? Like, the star power, like being like The Rock, like, the character and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the night I saw Daniel Bryan in low key match. Like I knew APW was kind of that style technical wrestling, but when I saw that match, I was like, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that. And then when Rick Thompson came and taught me how to do that, you know what I'm saying? And like he told us, he said, wrestling match, the best way he put it to it, like I said, he said the simplest things that said a lot. He said the way a wrestling match works, it's like a movie. You tell a story at the beginning of what the people expect. Then you had a middle where you kind of still tell a story, but you bring it down a little bit. You don't want to be a flat line. You want to go up and down, keep people excited, but not overdo it and be always high because you got to give them time to digest. But it's like a movie. You tell a story in the beginning, you can tell a story in the middle, but you know, saying kind of work, you know, keep the people into it. Then you give them the end. You know, saying that sums up that story. Yeah. And ever since he said that, I was like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And like that all came to play to my writing too. It's like I know the beginning and the end, so I'm trying to get to the end. So that plus him giving me moves to do more than just the armbar. Like, okay, top hand wrist lock, how to reverse that, how to do a drag out of that. Instead of okay, top hand wrist lock, next move, armbar. That's how APW was. And that's how my training was. But Rick Thompson was like, and he'd come with some amateur wrestling stuff. Like, okay, I want to y'all to banana splits. But we didn't do really pro wrestling moves until like 6 or 7 months into it with him. It was all amateur. And it's all shoot. That's why we had bloody airs. And that's why that group, Hook, me, Mario, even Tommy Drake, we consider ourselves Tetsu. Because I feel like a little bit after that, all the suits after that were just pro wrestling iron. You know what I'm saying? Because we beat each other's ass with Rick Thompson. And like, but we enjoyed it though. You know what I'm saying? It was very competitive. But yeah.
And it's funny because I just spoke to Rick Thompson not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago. And I just, you know, I want to eventually do an interview with him. That's why I kind of wanted to start talking to him. And he said other than amateur wrestling, he didn't have anyone to train in pro wrestling. So he was just using his amateur stuff. And he was just kind of, as he's going, he started to pick up stuff.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense then, because I never heard that story. But yeah, like I said, we didn't do no pro wrestling stuff for hella months. But at the same time, it opened your mind up to chain wrestling. It opened your mind up to like if you reverse holds, like most, like even that stuff, even the stuff you learned in APW, like the sit down, you know, saying the sit out, you know, stuff like that. He didn't just do the sit out. He didn't just do the wrist breakaway stuff like APW. He taught you even in amateur wrestling, how to do counters out of certain things, like 10 more things to do out of that, 10 more things to do out of that. So by the time we got to the pro wrestling part, it was the same thing, but it's like your mind flow better of, you're seeing the fundamentals of wrestling. Yeah. So it was a totally different training session.
Going into your first match, how did you feel before and how did you feel afterwards?
My first match was against Vito.
Was it at the school?
It was at school, but that match was bad, horrible. The first two matches I count is the one you said, like you said, with me and Rick Thompson against Mario and Vinny. Then there was another one with me and Rick Thompson, which I want to apologize to Rick for that second match with him because I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, it was me and him against Vinny and Mario. Like one thing I took from that match, I'm gonna say this, Mr. Vinny Massaro. I don't know if you try to do this got a 2-core Scorpio clothesline, but he gave me a clothesline, which I think it knocked me out. It didn't knock me out, but it blacked me out. And I heard the wrestlers having that before. You know what I'm saying? Like you still doing a match, but you're blacked out. And all I remember him giving me a clothesline, and then like I guess a minute passed, but I didn't remember none of it. And I woke up, he was putting the ropes like this. So, but I went back and watched it. I was still moving around like I was in the match and knew what was going on, but I literally didn't remember anything until he picked me up to whip me off the ropes. So one thing I took from that match, and him and Mario did some crazy shit to me. Like he did that hip toss where they swung my legs, I landed my face. But like I used to love taking bumps. But now I learned from what Donovan told me, take less bumps. But back then, I like to have good matches, so I took a lot of bumps.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling it now.
So that was and let's talk about your second, I would say your second tape match. So technically it's your third match, was for that show with Misawa. And how was that? Did you follow any Japanese wrestlers? Because I know you watched a couple of tapes. I borrowed some tapes from you before.
Yeah, like I didn't really watch it. Yeah, anything you borrowed from me was probably from somebody else that I borrowed and I kept. I think
I still have your Ultimo Dragon best of.
I was unbeknownst to indies, anything like that. Like I had no idea about indies until I got into it too. So let alone Japanese wrestling. I was a straight WWE fan. But I fell in love with the technical part wrestling. And seriously, if I had a choice to go anywhere during the time I was wrestling, I was always thinking about Japan. I didn't care about WWE because I was like, especially that was around the time they brought out WCW and it was a mess. But one thing I want to say about that night was I apologize to you, Rick Thompson, because when I watched that match, I had no idea until I watched it how I only tagged Rick Thompson in one time. And because at night I noticed, so I went to the back, he was in the shower. I was like, thank you, Rick. He was like, yeah. But I was like, what's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with Rick? But I knew when I went back and watched the match, me, Hook, and Mario Taylor had so many spots that we never added Rick. And see, Rick old school, he called it on the fly. You know what I'm saying? You know, like later I learned, you know, so I was green. Later, you tag a person and let them work. You know what I'm saying? Just work it. But Rick stayed in the corner watch that match. He stayed in the corner most of that match, and I know he was pissed. But we was doing our spots. It was like a handicap match. It was me against Mario Hook. And like when I watched this shit, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Rick. I'm so sorry. We did not tag Rick in. I think I tagged him in once, and that was it. That was so bad. It was Apollo against Hook and Jack Taylor.
So Rick Thompson left. He moved to Texas. The school moved from one part of Hayward to another part of Hayward off of Industrial. And how did you feel the shift there as far as training? Because your main trainers were also in Japan all the time.
So the thing about it was, I think around that time, me and Hook branched out a lot. So we learned a lot. Let's think about it. We probably get into later, but the problem is with a lot of people, I don't know about now, especially in NorCal, the wrestlers were satisfied of being where they was just at and thinking like see, now it's so different because social media is different than it is now. See, back in our day, social media was as strong, where now you could easily be seen and get booked. Where back in our days, it's like you got to get out there. And the problem I feel like with a lot of people in NorCal, especially the Bay Area, was thinking people, you know, just hero you or see you and push you. But me and Hook, we went for it. And so, but being on the road, we learned more. And think about it, it's like if you stay in the same place, it's like your parent. Everything they say, you're gonna think is right. You know what I'm saying? Everything they say, you don't feel is the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And if we just stayed at PWI and never left, everything, not saying anything they said wasn't good for us or some of it wasn't true, but if we didn't do that, we did everything Modest and Donovan said or Frank Murdoch said, we'd have thought was the way how wrestling is. And that's a problem with a lot of people in NorCal at that time. But I said us branching out, we learned more. You know what I'm saying? We learned about, you know, everybody politics ain't like our politics.
Yeah.
You learn how to you know, we wrestle with different people, you learn different things too. You know what I'm saying? So you grow. Like as long as you know how to bump right, you know, sell whatever, or basically bump right, you good enough to go out there and try to, you know, learn stuff and learn from other people. And the training there was not the same once Rick Thompson left. I can say this, and no, like I said, I got love for all those guys. Like I was closer to Donovan than Mike, and I appreciate everything they did for us. You know what I'm saying? Uh, open the door for us. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if it was for just to have students for pay, whatever like that, they still open the door for us. Seriously, if I took the other path of going to APW, I don't know where I'd be at right now. Because a lot of that transition from APW to PWI was actually a big move in my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'll be where I'm at right now. The problem was Rick had everything, organized, being the main trainer. I feel like with other people, think about it. I was a semi-pro, so like me and Hook was already to the point where we at that time we weren't really being trained. We go there to do stuff, and I used to be on treadmill most of the time, and then the semi-pro training really wasn't like how APW was. Promo night, learn this and that, get better at your charisma, and a lot of problem with that was honestly was just the leadership. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were put in position they shouldn't have been in over who was cool, who was closer to the promoters. To Donovan, Mike, and Miles. That's and Frank. That's the honest truth. And not taking anything from I don't want to name certain people if they still in the business, but not taking anyway for somebody that they put in that position. But that person should have been training people, I feel, because when I used to go to classes as a person to train people, like beginners, not me, it was practice session on the students. And then one time they put me in there to train them because, like, think about it, it's like I don't play the game of and that's the problem with Iron too. I'm gonna be honest. They play the game of you gotta, saying you gotta figure out what they want from you. The kayfabe mode. It's like talk to me. We're grown men. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see a young boy. You kind of stay kayfabish, but I'm past that. Talk to me if you want me. You want to train people, do so. But like, don't think okay, I got this person training people. Like I'm supposed to get jealous. Like that's that bitch shit. I'll just be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get jealous of nobody. Oh, he trained them. Why he ain't pick me? I give two shits. Really, I didn't want to train people for one, and two. Even if I did, I don't really care. Like I'm not gonna get butt hurt like a little girl because saying somebody else training. You know what I'm saying? But that's type of tactics they use. And anyway, when I train people, I found out the students just wasn't getting trained right because even the APW, when we did amateur wrestling like that, we did it. Like I said, if I'm bringing out of a body lock or whatever, I'm using full force. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm trying to work for it. Everything they did was like choreographed. They do amateur wrestling like, okay, I'm gonna go down for him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, he got me in a body lock. Okay, when he break, I'm gonna break my arm, but my hands from him. Where ABW, we really do that. Rick Thompson, we really didn't do that because he get on. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't get out, you got to get out. You know what I'm saying? So they was getting trained mediocre, and while I was doing it with them, they look at me like, damn, why he so rough? This is how I was trained. That's why everybody where I came from Rick Thompson class, I feel like we was all Tetsu. We was really Tetsu because we was like the tough ones. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Hook Bomberry had bloody ear. You know what I'm saying? I had cauliflower ear. He had one because we was like really going at it. But the training went from that to mediocre. And like you said, there was nobody there to supervise the training. And it was a lot of politics of let's put this guy there because we like him. You know what I'm saying? Just like everything else they did. Like I like the whole thing with the I love the guys, but it's a whole phrase like Vince gave with WCW. It was like once they got a company, it's like the inmates running an asylum. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it was more about ego than a business to me. I felt. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying they ain't trying to run a business, but it was like they made a lot of moves politic wise out of ego instead of just like was more better for their business. Even when it came to Noah, I just felt from my end, I felt even who wrestled Masawa and Ogawa. It's like put the guys in there represent your company right. I don't care. It's not even me. It won't have to be me, but put the guys in there in your company that's going to make them go, okay, we want to invest to this company. It could be Tommy Drake or anybody else, but do it the right way. Don't do it because okay, this person, I'm cool with this person, so I'm gonna put him in the match. They represent our company. But
So we're going back. We're talking about you and Hook going out and branching out to other promotions. I know because I went with you guys to a lot of these places. Like you guys went up to Supreme Pro Wrestling with Big Ugly. You guys went down south to Rev Pro, and then eventually PWG. How were you guys perceived in other spots? Like because a lot of people thought NorCal was a little stiffer, or the Tetsu group was a little stiffer. Like, how were you perceived when you went to these other places?
So, I kind of like I was saying earlier, a lot of guys get stuck on just staying where they're at, and hopefully people pick them up. Nowadays, like it's different probably, but back in those days, I'm talking specifically about back in those days. People really don't care. I'll say this: people that's seasoned, like the Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarians, know that guy too. He's one of the coolest guys in the business. I had a good story about him too, about King of Indies. Something I did. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh, Kazarian.
Yeah, we'll tell you real quick.
Yeah. No, yeah. Go ahead.
So King of Indies. You remember I just drink wine. I don't drink no more. You know, since
like in Carlo Rossi blush.
Yeah, you're sober. I want to let you know, Frankie Kazarian, you'll see this. I doubt it. You got me into box wine. So, King of Indies, I was a young boy at the time. Doing
I was going to ask you what you did during King Indies. I don't remember seeing you. I know Mario refed.
Yeah, I was doing security. I was always staying at one corner over there in was it Marina or something like that?
The Mare Island.
Yeah, so when they get King of Indies that one show, so Frankie Kazarian, I think it was him or somebody else. But Frankie Kazarian came because they had an after little thing, like kind of like an after party or whatever, just everybody coming to eat, a little barbecue / at the hotel that everybody was at. And that's why I was into wine. So Frankie Kazarian bring a box of wine. And me being a young boy that I am. So he put it on the table. So once he put it on the table, I was like, "Oh, cool wine." I done had a box of wine, but it's wine. So I took it upon myself to open it up myself, and I start fucking pouring the wine. And Frankie Kazarian look at me like, "Who is this dude?" Like I didn't offer it to my wine, and I knew he was a young boy too. So. Not only that, I had like 2 more cups. And Frankie Kazarian look at me like, who is this guy? Nobody else touching it but me. I was just like, so if you don't remember that was me, Frankie. But I know Frankie know me as Apollo Kahn, but at that time I was at my government name. But I don't know if he knew I was or not, but he looked at me like, who the fuck is this guy? He keep drinking my fucking wine. But,
so that's where it started. I mean, I remember hanging out a lot with you, and we would go to that liquor store, the Town and Country, right around the corner from your place.
Yeah. That was a spot. I think people still go there. That's hilarious.
I was like, every time I drive by there, I'm like, oh yeah, this Apollo used to get his Carlo Rossi. I would get like some Tall Boys of Modelo, whatever beer.
Old school. But yeah, quick back to what we were talking about. Yeah. So the thing I want to say is seasoned people are aware of that. Just because you got trained somewhere, or you, like I said, we're the proteges of Delvin Morgan, Michael Modest, doesn't mean that you wrestle like them. But me and Hook, we took it out upon ourselves to go out and start getting booked, and like word of mouth started getting out there because we had these stiff matches, or snug matches to us, but people call it stiff, and we gain our own respect. That's the people don't know. Like, you got to gain your own respect. People don't care about where you came from. It depends on what you do. But we start getting respect, and every time we went somewhere new, it was me and him consider. We was what you consider a married couple. You know what I'm saying? And we travel up and down California. You kept going further out, all the way to LA. And we always had these matches. And we got our name out there. And that's the thing about it. It's like we took upon ourselves to get out of the Bay Area and go for it. And think about it, we learned. Even though we did matches ourselves, we ended up doing certain matches outside our own matches at the promotions. And like, it was funny when we first went to LA because you see people trying to do our style. Like, I don't want to say Excalibur. I think you try to do it. Like, you see people give people forearms and not hitting the pocket. They hitting the actual neck, see where the vein at and shit like that. And like, I think some people didn't like Well, Hook, he laid off a little bit, you know. But me, every 110%, as all my heat was snug or stiff in it. That's why I think people didn't want to wrestle me. After a while, I look back, I was like, I ain't getting booked. People was like, that motherfucker was stiff. But
Yeah.
I love that shit. But like I said, I give it to you, give back to me. And I think some people thought they give back to me or harder, like I'll loosen up. But I get more stiff. I'll be like, no, I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. But yeah, me and Hook, we went out there as we consider like a married couple, and it's like a name for ourselves. And we started getting respect. You guys, Frankie Kazarians, Christopher Daniels, and stuff like that. You know, like okay, like these guys are, you know, they technically sound.
Yeah, and then you continued to be booked in PWG. So how was working with guys there? I know you worked guys like the Pit Bulls, like one of the Havana Pit Bulls, guys like Baby Slim, and all these people. So how was it working with PWG, who ended up blowing up as a huge promotion?
Right. That's one of the reasons I think they stopped booking me, because I don't think anybody really want to wrestle me, because it was like, you know, because I thought like just my style out in a wrestling a Samoa Joe or CM Punk, you know, even those cool guys to me. But I never wrestled them, but I took a step back from the business. I saw, okay, a lot of people probably didn't want to work me because everything I did was a stiff. I didn't know how to lay up. Yeah, I liked it. Those cool guys. I think my last match there was against the Havana Pit Bulls. And I think I talked about this in my own little podcast, that Hook didn't see it that way, but it was like they were cool with us and it was cool guys. But being that we're both from different dojos, you know, still like they was from the New Japan dojo in LA. And we from you know, Press Iron, but it's considered like AK, you know, slash Noah. It was like when I got in there, Hook said he didn't feel it, but I felt they was trying to shoot. But I don't think it was like, you know, I don't like you, because it was actually cool. But I think it was like they feel like they needed to represent their dojo against ours. And it turned into a little shoot chain between me and Rocky. And I ended up putting him in the sharpshooter, and then and like everybody, oh shit. And like I got up, he was like squared me up, then we was done shooting. But no, it was a good. I liked PWG. They was always good to me. They paid decent. But yeah, I totally think, looking back at it, I stopped getting booked because Hook knew to like lighten up a little bit, and Hook got more into you know, charisma of his character. You know?
And then he started doing more comedy too, a little bit more comedy.
Right. And I think most of it had to do with he broke his ankle. You know, we know he had to do with Sarah Del Rey in the ring. He broke his ankle. And ever since after that, I think he kind of like, you know, got it to, you know what, I can't do the same shit no more. So you got to ask him yourself. But
we had him on here. He mentioned that.
Yeah. So he started going to comedy thing. But that was my problem. Like Super Dragon always told me, even when I tried to get booked with him again, like, no, we like your work. You know, so we like your work in the ring, but right now we got no spots, which is, you know, I know they can find a spot, but that was a problem when I went out to LA and I started doing improv and started wrestling. And I start realizing like, okay, that's why I fucked up at, because I was going around trying to be the black Benoit, because I was a fan of Benoit, and like that's how I consider myself, because like that's my style, just like straight technical. I go out to the ring, I'm not over talking like that. I go straight to the ring and just fucking wrestle and do my thing. But at the same time, I lost what got me into the business, which was, you know, the entertainment part. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got to have a character for people to connect to or people to like, other than the rest. Because like, regardless, even at PWG, when my matches are done, it was cool to get the clap. I didn't get to like, hey, I got the clap. That's like respect. Okay, you like good wrestling. But at the end of the day, it's like I wasn't, you know, getting the crowd reaction of an entertainer completely. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, people forgot about that, you know, that lock code I did and the cool chain wrestling. Because what got me to wrestling wasn't even that either. It was the entertainment part, the charisma. And that's why I fucked myself, as in, I think continue to get booked because like, okay, we know he can wrestle. You know, we know he can do like good wrestling and tell a story in the ring, but he's not doing no entertainment. Like when Daniel Bryan wrestled with PWG, he did a little entertainment shit. He's a great wrestler, but even he gave a little bit of entertainment to what he did. You know, saying to like,
and he wasn't known to be a charismatic person either, or
right,
character.
Yeah. But you look back at his matches, PWG, he did some shit like like kind of gimmicky shit sometimes. But you got to do that so people feel like you got something, you know what I'm saying, of character. And that's what I lacked, you know.
What are some of the bigger opportunities you had during your wrestling career? Have you done WWE Extra Talent? I know you did a TNA match.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I did WWE. Once again, we was at the stage. We was at that last stage of the era of super politics, kayfabe, just wrestling politics, and WWE was a good experience to know how it works. It's literally lights, camera, action. Anywhere you turn, even the back, like there's a camera there, so like, you gotta be careful where you go. But the problem was, we was honestly told from our promoters, Mike Donovan, I don't know who exactly said it, one of them, because like I'm pretty sure like when they went to WWE, kayfabe was still big, so it was still like not seeing it was there when Hulk Hogan and stuff was there. I'm pretty sure it was like a little later than that, it was like not that far back, but kayfabe was still alive. So you go in WWE, of course, the locker room was not like your indies. So saying stay in your corner or don't say nothing to nobody. So I'm pretty sure their what they told us to do when we went there was from their experience. And it was like, don't say that to nobody. If somebody coming to you, speak, but don't say that to nobody. So this is during the time where wrestling totally changed in the back. You know what I'm saying? Little John Cena was, just coming up, blah, blah, blah. We went there and it was just like, we quiet. And okay, it was me, Tommy Drake, and Vito Tomaselli. No, Vito, right? And first night we went there was a Sunday Night Heat. We was filming that, and then I think Bobby Quince got booked for a dark match with I forgot the name. It was a guy who worked for W2, he was Indies, whatever. And instead of us staying, just to be happy that at least we got there, they wanted to leave, and already we wasn't talking to nobody. You see Shawn Michaels, even Triple H and them, like looking back at us like, when these guys gonna talk? We went to the catering room, and Vince is like sitting like in the middle. And this time when the two Twin Towers went down, or the war was going on, and Vince was sitting right there. People, you see Booker T going to, hey, how you doing, sir? Blah blah. We the only person ain't saying nothing to Vince. We're not saying nothing to another wrestler. We just sitting there in our own little world. Even one point, Stone Cold came to us, it's like trying to loosen it up. It's like, well, I'm gonna see for you guys, arm bars, blah blah blah. Whatever y'all need to loosen up with. You need a little bit of Jack Daniels or whatever you said, some kind of liquor. But he's trying to loosen us up because they seen we was kind of tense, and all it came off as we was fucking these rude, just ego type fucking guys that come in here and had no respect for being there. And I was probably was invited there the day back. But so we left early, and you can see grabbing our bags. If I drew there, I would have stayed. Just to be in an environment and learn shit.
Yeah.
But you see Triple H on them guys, Kahn on them guys looking at us like, okay, we got our bags leaving. You see Ric Flair looking at us like, these guys leaving? Literally, I don't know how we was invited back the next day because we had so much heat the next day. That's why in the match I had with Bill Demott, he tried to shoot on me. But I didn't even know it during that match. If I have a good snap bump, my head would have came off my body. You know what I'm saying? Because he literally tried to do the two-core Scorpio and do the uppercut clothesline. You can see it when you watch it. But I snapped so fast, I couldn't even tell. But yeah, we had so much heat. Even Rock Chichi tried to get us in the ring to run around with. He's like, hey, get in the ring. Run around with Charlie Haas. Not only, Charlie Haas got, better ring skills than I do, shoot wrestling, but we had heat. Even Eddie Guerrero passed by us looking at us like, because the word was around, those guys from other night that left early Even Chris Brown told us when we was like, I was doing my match, Corey's doing my match. Chris Brown was like, "You guys will stick around, right?" And I was like, and the Corey was like, "Yeah, we'll stick around." But it was just like we was told the wrong information. It was like we should have talked to people. Vito started doing it. Vito's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. But even the next day, I said, "What's up to Triple H?" But he gave me like the light handshake, like, "Yeah,
The Indy Handshake.
yeah, man, yeah." It's too late for that shit. But yeah, it was a cool experience. But I still had Japan in my mind. But yeah, like I feel like any kind of that's why I feel like any time after that we had a bad rep, our school because the way we came in there that first time, it was like we show no respect. Well, we didn't intend to do that, but it came off that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I think with my match, it was like I think it's supposed to be a shoot, but I could bump fast. You know, say it bothered me. It was one point I played like my eyes rolled back my head because he said that's what Funaki did when he fought him, and the doctor really thought I was knocked out, and he put a fucking smell of salt in my nose. But you guys gonna see it, and I was like, no, I'm good. That shit was strong. I was fucking watering and shit. But he thought I was fucking knocked out because I told Bill Demott, do a power bomb with me, land it on my shoulders. Because like I said, second row school, it's kind of like a second row schoolboy. If you power bomb me, I could bounce off my shoulders. But that's why you see when I just the power bomb, it looked kind of awkward because he didn't do it the right way. But I was trying to just put him over because I was like, I already know I'm gonna get squashed.
Yeah.
But even the part where I did the second row jump, I was did my move. I do the do the spear. But he was like, no, I do a clothesline right here. I was like, okay, it's your match. And then I jumped off. People called me in the air, did clothesline, but he didn't. But yeah, even he had me in the road. I knew it was on a shoot, but I'm tougher than that. I was like, I'm here to do a job, so it is what it is. But TNA is a different experience, and I think Luke Hawks for that because I know he was one mainly for getting me in there, and I feel like I was there. I got a lot of love because or got spoke kind of highly of because even Dixie Carter came to me like, oh, hey, how you doing? I told my real name because like I was told like don't use your work name, use your shoe name. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I got a friend or somebody named Darnell." I was like, "Oh, cool." But once again, just like the CM Punk thing, me being so soft spoken, it came off the wrong way. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And she was like, "Okay, all right, yeah. It's nice," but it came off bad. But it's like I'm not the person like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah," So it came off bad, but yeah, just I think the word got around through Frankie and them like look out for this guy, you know what I'm saying? So they booked me against Michael Shea.
Yes.
So Michael's nephew. And he tried to do a thing where he tried to kayfabe me for most of the time, and he didn't want to call our match to the last moment. And he came to me like 10 minutes before our match, he talked to me about it. And to me, I was fine because at that time stage of my career, I can go in the ring and just work on the fly. So he came in there and we went over a couple of things and we just did it in the ring, which I like to do anyway.
Yeah. Now, let's go to you're kind of winding down in the wrestling and as a friend, as someone that hung out with you a lot, I could see that your eye went to entertainment. Like you wanted, I was there when you did your first stand-up comedy routine. And then you got into writing. You're showing me this your script for this movie that eventually you did end up making called the Cohasset Snut Film. Check it out.
Right.
And so I can tell that wrestling, you were already kind of disappointed with it. So were you disappointed with wrestling at the time, or did you just want to do a complete change and to just do entertainment?
Yeah, it was definitely it definitely was. I feel like I didn't feel like wrestling had any legs on it at that time because I said it was still going through that time. It was still going through that phase of WWE trying to figure out how to uh, uh, get themselves back into the business the right way after buying out WCW because that shit lasted for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Like they was trying to find themselves with so many wrestlers. So to me, I feel like the business wasn't the same. It was like the content was the same. I feel like like a couple years after I stopped, I was like, damn, I should have stayed into it. But yeah, that was the main reason. And first I want to get plugged to Edward Payson, who directed Class Snow film too.
Mm-hmm.
He would like that. Funny story to that, me making that. Do you even remember why I made that script?
Why you did it? No, I remember reading it. I remember I shot some promo pictures for it for like a fake cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So remember you was doing this show in your studio, like a Twilight Zone type thing, like episodes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's when I like I said, the whole Rick Thompson thing of how to tell a story. So to me, like I took that whole idea into the ring from the ring to just like how I see, putting together, a movie or a script or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And uh I didn't professionally know how to do a script. I went to the store, brought a book, and read on how to write scripts, how to do the word format.
Mm-hmm.
But what inspired me to make Cohasset was you doing that. Because I was like, I want to say I can make a horror story, but
Mm-hmm.
in a cheap way. I can do it myself. It makes sense why I'm doing it in a cheap way, which
Yeah.
was by him filming it himself. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, that's why the same camcorder I got now, that's way outdated. It's hella outdated. I brought that. I saved money up and brought that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna film. It was called Mind and Serial Killer at the time. I'm
Yeah.
film this Mind and Serial Killer with this, and I'm gonna make it. It'll make sense why it look cheap because he's filming himself. So you actually inspired me because I was like, I'm trying to challenge myself to make up my own horror thing. But the reason I made that whole concept because
Oh man.
it makes sense that it's cheap
Yeah.
because of how it's filmed. So
I just shared that movie recently, the one that we shot at the TV studio there. I just shared it for like Halloween.
oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I totally saw that in you that you were dedicated to this script, and like you said, you have no formal training. You went to LA, you moved to LA, and you did a lot of improv comedy. I remember you did a character named like Queen Bee or something like that. Yeah, so you were out there, so you're putting it out there, like you're dedicated yourself to entertainment.
Yeah. When I went out there, that's what I said. Like when I started doing improv and doing theater in Hollywood, that's what I realized what I messed up at in wrestling, of what got me into wrestling, which is
Yeah,
the character, saying, and entertaining people. And yeah, we did a lot of sketch comedy like Saturday Night Live, and it was fun night. And the thing about it, what inspired me more to write was that the director of the theater, he wrote for Pirates of the Caribbean, Spider-Man, whatever. And it was a lot of people there from Chicago, New York, LA,
yeah,
that we all got together on weekends and came out ideas for sketches. And some people's sketches I took on myself and wrote. And thing about it is when a person take you alone and tell you something positive about yourself, you can say, okay, thank you, but you kind of question it.
hmm
But when your person to tell you from your whole group,
hmm
he told me, he was like, because like I said, I'll be honest, my grammar wasn't the best. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to writing class, but I could tell a story. And
yeah,
and, and like I said, even of course, when you write something, you think it's good or you think it's decent. But till he told me that day, I'd always say, you got the best writing in here because you know how to put a story together from the beginning to the end.
yeah,
And he said it from everybody, all the people that's been doing this longer than me. And it made me feel so weird because I was like, okay, I don't even really mean that. So I felt even more confidence in my writing when I was doing my creativity. And people actually used to come to me and like, I had this idea. And I used to at nighttime and write these sketches. And
hmm
of course they critique stuff because like I said, like I was a professional writer,
yeah.
like, but I could tell a story. And ever since then, I was like, okay, that's what I love doing is telling stories. I wish I could work for WE and help them write, but same time you have to have a degree and shit like that, and I got none of that. So
I also got to shoot a lot of comedy stuff with you when you did your Life of a Pro Wrestler skit. All the different characters. I still think Rainbow Warrior would have been a great wrestling character.
him versus what was that the character that Ryan Drago did? Taku or
Oh,
the
Super Otaku.
Super Taku. Him
Yeah.
remember Warrior? That would have been a match. Right? I actually did a
uh,
skit, I think
yeah.
too.
What's that?
No, I think I did a skit with him or some character like that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, you were interviewing people from PWG like Joey Ryan and Too Close. I mean, Scorpio Sky and all those people. So yeah, you was just you wanted to entertain. So going back a little bit to wrestling, we're kind of winding down now. favorite road story, and that's funny because I didn't know if I should have asked you this question because every time we went on a road trip, you were just to fall asleep the whole fucking way.
Yeah, like the thing about me too, during those days, like I know if I got a car, I'll have to ride a range truck. I never wanted to know I know how to drive DC. So anyway, yeah, road trips. It's like a plane ride. I just go to sleep. If it's not any kind of action or pranks going on, I fall asleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just fall asleep a lot. We like I remember Vito and them used to do some good stuff on the road. Like if you fall asleep sometime, if you knew, they do a thing where if you fall asleep, they'll find a spot and hit the brakes hella hard and wake you up like and yell like you're getting an accident. But they did to me. I got woke up like, but most people get scared. I didn't get scared of that. They used to do shit like I think they left Maya one time. Like she needed to use the bathroom, so she went by a dumpster, and they just peeled off on her. And you see her running down, pulling her. I don't get it.
One of my favorite ones, and I don't know if you remember this or if you want to remember, but I remember it was around the time that you were like not really feeling wrestling, but you wanted to do a tryout for New Japan LA.
Right.
So I drove down there with you because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hype my boy up. I'm gonna take him down there. He's gonna do it. I believe in my boy. We drove down there and you like blew up hella quick during the thing. And then afterwards, you're like, all right, man, let's go hang out. And I'm like, hell no. I was hella mad. Like, let's go back to the Bay Area.
I feel so bad. So this is the thing. This is the thing. I was a fucking idiot. This is around the time in the wrestling career where I was doing. I stopped really actually wrestling matches like very very technical and started doing like just trademark moves and shit. Started getting lazy, drinking a lot of the Colorasi. So my dumb ass drunk a whole bottle of Colorasi that night, and like I was like, I'm pro, I'll be good. When we got there, Mr. Colorasi decided to show up and whoop my ass in a training. And you remember like the Japanese guy that kind of ran a dojo or those persons for them gave me like you said like the little bowl,
a little bowl of water,
like Baby Yoda, and I was drinking out of the fucking bowl, sipping the water like Baby Yoda.
You were just like, oh.
And the thing about it, I think Rocky probably put a good word on like, people like okay, watch out for this guy. Even her name was Nikki something. She was a wrestler, and like that was the first time, or probably the second time, but they had like a 20x20. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Like it was like 1, 2, 3 turn. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So even running the ropes threw me off. So like it was a bad kid. And like I really wanted to try out good for him. Like I said, like I really wanted to go to Japan and like because I really like I said, he wasn't about to pay or anything like that. It was about me just really loving Japanese wrestling. And after that, I actually had another chance to go to Japan acting wise for Universal Studios.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and like that was like this is my way to go to Japan because like I love like I'm a very artistic person, creative person. So Japan I feel like is a very creative place, and just going there just for their culture, you know what I'm saying, was the thing I was interested in too. So I was like, this is my chance to go to Japan. I kind of messed up with that. I wish you could have got the hottest of those auditions. I was dressed up as fucking Flavor Flav's sister. The next season, I dressed up as the girl that tried out.
This all sounds familiar. Like I've seen this.
Yeah, I told him to send me some reels of it. But think about it was so funny because everybody there had like I hated. That's one thing I hate about LA: the fake headshots. Because most people headshots that look shit like them. It looked like a totally different person. You look like super airbrushed, everything. But I went to this audition, and let alone my package was like this shitty resume, but it was like my theater shit, wrestling. That's all I had, theater and wrestling. And my headshot was it was me taking a picture that my girlfriend took, and it was like hella dark, no light. It was like, and I printed it out on my printer, so it was like hella rough print the color.
Oh man,
dude. So I went to audition, and they was laughing their ass off. And the guy was like, okay, he a finalist. And literally the girl said to him, are you sure? She was like, are you sure? They was like, no. He's good. she's looking at him like, okay, because you see my package, and she just like knew like I was like out of my league with everybody else there. Everybody else was doing, theater and probably did Disneyland and shit like that. And second year I went, like they invited me back, but then once again it was like they told me to get a passport. They were gonna bring me, but when at the end of the day it came up to, they was like we like you, you're funny, but you kind of just don't fit their program. Because everybody else is like, doing Peter Pan shit and stuff like that. It's like we're trying to find somewhere we could fit you in, because like we feel like you're very talented. But it was like, and I got a passport, dude, spend hell of money on a passport and everything. But yeah, I try to go to Japan.
Can you tell us a quick story about a time a promoter was trying to stiff you in money, or the funniest excuse of not getting paid at a show? You don't have to name names if you don't want to, but it's up to you.
I don't care. I'm not gonna name. Remember, I think this show, I worked with Rock Carroll.
Was it PCW in SoCal?
No. Was it okay?
Or was it PCW in NorCal?
Was it okay? Do you remember a guy named Aaron Proctor?
Yes. So that was SoCal. Yeah, okay. That was PCW in SoCal. Yeah.
I worked Rock Carroll, didn't I? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen with Rock Carroll, but I think me and Hook got kind of stiffed on our pay. And so I was like, okay. I said, like, oh, we're getting paid. I don't know if he was completely on our pay or a little bit, but I remember him telling, like, I'm going to pay you guys. It never did.
Oh, I heard about this, yeah.
So years later, he called me himself. I've got all about to pay. I was like, fuck it, it's water in the bridge. I ain't gonna get my money. Years later, he called me, was like, yeah, man, I know I was owe you money, stuff like that. I feel bad about it. My ways changed. My ways of life changed. I guess you became religious or something like that. He was like, I know I owe you this much money. I'm gonna pay you. Give me your address so I can send it to you, and I'll pay you this and that. So I don't know if he thought I was going to sit there and go, no, you know what? Your life changed. You spiritual now, because I'm not religious. So to me, you saying that to me don't even mean it to me. So I think he thought, I go, no, man, you with the word of God now, blah, blah, blah. You have to pay me no more. So I was like, yeah, my address is. so he was like, oh, okay, man. Yeah. I'll send it to probably, in a week or two. Never got it. I was in that apartment for like a year and a half. Never got it. But I think he thought I was going to give him some kind of waiver. Like, no, you know what, man, you're not the way of God. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my only like real bad experience. Of course, I got promoters that actually, booked me like once or twice. They didn't pay me. But one thing me and Hook learned is if you don't know, if it's not a promotion that making money and they're a good promotion and they got bigger stars than you on there, I feel like if you get your money ahead of time, don't work there, because the people that's like the Christopher Daniels or Frankie Kazarians, they guarantee to get paid. They probably got a little bit ahead of time. So the likelihood of you getting paid, especially if the promotion starting off, or saying like the little Ricky Dick promotion, is very low. So I feel like you should never. I don't know how it is nowadays, but I know back in our days when you got bigger names on the card, especially too many, and you like the low totem pole, don't work because you're not gonna get paid. You probably gonna get paid. You probably barely get a penny because they don't take care of the bigger guys, not you. So
no, it happens. I don't think it happens that much anymore, to tell you the truth, but back then for sure, I can totally see that. What has been the craziest fan interaction you've had at a show? Like either someone is too like overzealous, or someone is actually trying to fight you because you did your job as a heel.
I never had anybody try to fight me. I actually had that Frank Murdoch for you. Mm-hmm. I actually had a fan because Frank Murdoch, he played the racist role. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we wrestled. We didn't wrestle to the cage match, but we had a promo session. We had a segment when we was in the ring, and he said some stuff, blah blah blah. I think it was Latham. And all of a sudden it was something like where I think he beat me down or whatever. So I come from the back and go around, just walking around, and one of the fans was a black kid, and he literally said, he literally said, "Man, why you let that? Man, why you let that? Man, why you let that white dude beat your ass? Come on, man. Come on, brother." And I was like, I didn't know what to say, but only thing I could do was kind of walk away and kayfabe, and I was like,
yeah.
it's like being that a person that's supposed to be, looking like this pro wrestling star. You'll sit there and look like you're a fool. Only thing I can do is walk away and look kayfabe. But that's probably the only thing I've seen a fan say to me. And then I think SPW. I was trying for once to have a charisma, and I was like, okay, when I come out, I'll be amped. So when I wrestle, when I bring it down, at least I did something. And once again, another brother. You have to be a brother. I was in the crowd at SBW, and I was like on the turn, yeah, what? And then this one dude was like, and we got a little quiet. He's like, man, why are you making a fucking fool out of yourself? I was like,
yeah.
I guess I ain't gonna try that no more. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, if the fans say I'm making a fool of myself, I guess I'm like a fool. So ain't no more jumping on the ropes and yelling no more, because he's like, man, why you making a motherfucking fool of yourself? I really want to fight that dude. I was like, nigga, just. Yeah.
Oh man, how about any embarrassing moments that happened to you during a match?
Embarrassing moment, not during a match. I think you said PCW. Was it dude named Prime Time? What's his name?
Yeah, Mr. Primetime up north.
When they booked me, I think I was tagging with Adam Thornstone, and I think he came out to Puffy. You hate me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And little behold, I took it upon myself to try to, I was into it, whatever. Just like I said, once again, try working my charisma. And I thought the hook was coming, but every time the hook come, I was like, he kept rapping. I was just like, it did once again, like,
yeah.
And then you see Adam looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? But every time I thought the hook was coming, he kept rapping. And, dude, I was like fucking food out there. So that's probably the time I looked embarrassing, because I was trying my best to like hit that hook. But then at the same time, I was like a motherfucker. I looked dumb as fuck. So
well, brother, just wrap it up. I mean, you and I have been friends for many, many years, since 2000. And I've always appreciated you. You are one of the favorite parts in the little trailer I did with little Mexican zombies. Like you yelling at the end of the.
My wife loves that.
So yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for doing the interview. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up? Anything you want to plug? Your podcasts?
Like just go get Milo Serial Killer, the book based on the Class of Snuff film. Cause I got a book too, the book version of it, and go look at Class of Snuff film made by me / Edward Payson. Check that out, and yeah, that's all I gotta say, man.
Right on, man. Well, thanks again. Thanks again for being on, and thank you everybody for watching Indy Handshake.